hell? It's Ian freaking Nieves. I am part German, and I'm not telling you all to hail to me, because that would be fascist. Fascist? Hang on. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. It's really... Now, I just wanted to tell you all a quick message. Your life sucks. Admit it. It sucks. There's no point in getting up tomorrow. There's no point in doing anything. There's no point in points. Alright? It's... Oh, the door was cracked. Hang on. It sucks. There's no point in doing anything. If you're depressed right now, I don't blame you. If you're not depressed right now, that's a miracle. And basically, what I'm trying to say right now is... I've been thinking about this a lot. And if you're watching this video, you're probably agreeing with me. You're probably, you know, I mean, there's no point at the end of the day. And I sort of realized this today as I was walking down the street. I realized that people just aren't happy, and church made me realize this. Because I, being the adventurous young lad that I am, decided to go out. Well, first off, I woke up at 6 a.m. And then I hit the streets around 8:05, 8:30. That's a big time difference, but I don't care right now. It's a YouTube video. Who gives a shit? I'm really anxious right now and horribly upset. Let me continue. So anyway, around 8:30, I went out onto the street. And I had a goal in mind, and that goal was to get some ice cream. And, I wanted an ice cream cone and some ice cream, soft serve, rainbow sprinkles, because, you know, it looks nice. And so, I'm walking down the street at 8:30 a.m., and it's a nice day out. That's why I just turned out the lights. And I live near a huge-ass church. It's a huge cathedral. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's Sunday. People still do that, apparently. They go to church on Sunday. Like, I don't really get the point, but they go in and they hear old people talk in front of young people. And then some of the older folks in the audience sort of like, gotta put the power strip on. Let there be light! Alright, there we go. Turn more light on. Okay, so, because like a cloud passed by the sun, so it sort of dimmed. So yeah, a bunch of old people get together and they start moaning and groaning and like making murder symbols with their hands and all that stuff. And usually it's just a crowd of like 20, 30 people go in at a time, maybe 5 people going off the street. You know what I mean? But this time, there was a line extending from the doors out onto the block, like over 100 people. It's a huge-ass church, as I said before, but like, and I'm like, what, is this a holiday? Is something happened? Is there a wedding? Is there a ceremony? And I'm just thinking about this, and I keep walking. And, you know, I passed by another church, because I live in New York City, and there are so many churches here, it's ridiculous. And, the same thing. People are lined across the street. I'm like, wow, I wonder why all these people are going in here today. What could be the reason? It's Mother's Day, but that's not a big deal. Like, you know, freaking... Anyway, so I keep walking, and, like, there are more homeless people out in the street, because I don't go out that much, and, like, freaking homeless people, and, like, people look sad, and I'm like, wait a minute. Everyone around me, including my own being, is depressed. This is an issue. Like, has no one else noticed this before? Is everyone else too sad to realize this is a thing? Like, My God, this is horrible. So anyway, I'm getting to the meat of what I'm trying to say, but first I need a drink because I'm also very depressed. So. Sorry, I just burp sometimes. I wonder if that was my mother falling over in the bathroom. So anyway, what the hell was I saying? Yeah, so I've come up with a short list written on this printer paper. Very short list, as you can barely see. And the first thing on the list is health. Obviously. In fact, I'm gonna make a little subtitle. Alright, health. So basically, I think a lot of people are depressed because of poor health. And freaking kids in my class, they're like, you know, they're in okay health. I mean, I'm just eating food, by the way. They're in okay health, sort of. They're really depressed like me, but that's not the point. Basically, I think 10 years ago this article appeared in the papers. Because I read the papers every now and then. I look like a... I'm sorry, I just... Tangent. If you move this piece of hair back, I look kind of feminine. Like a very butch model. Like freaking... Just noticed that, but it's not the point. No, basically, it was like cell phones give you cancer. You know, it was in 10 years ago. It said prolonged exposure to Blackberries, like and like smartphones and like even flip phones. You hold it to the side of your head and talk for hours and hours at a time every day. You could develop cancer. And coincidentally, I have this Blackberry. I don't use it, but it's just interesting because it's history now. It's a relic, so to speak. You know, I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I wish like I could retrofit like stuff in here and like make it a computer, and then I could like have my laptop with a physical keyboard to go through the phone. So anyway, I was getting distracted. Yeah, health. Basically, everyone was freaking out because cell phones, big deal. Hold it to your side of your head, it's so convenient. And the reason why I'm bringing this old article up is because these days, if that article came out, everyone would be like, no shit. You know what I mean? The kids in my class, like, they say... Someone will say, I want to do this weekend. And it could be, like, paintball. It could be something recreational. I'm not hinting at weed right now. They do that too, but it doesn't matter. No, but like, it could be anything. Almost anything. It could be harmless, seemingly. And someone is bound to say, wait a minute, doesn't that give you cancer? And they're like, yes. But everything does these days, so it doesn't matter. And then they do it. And I just really feel disturbed right now, because I just sort of realized, we live in a society where cancer is so commonplace, and people just freaking say, oh, well, I want to do this. And it's harmful. But there's so much harmful stuff around me, I might as well go ahead and do it. And it's like, no one really wants to play it safe for the rest of their life. Like, I can't do this, and they have like a freaking huge-ass list. And they like check the list every time. Oh, I can't eat that candy bar because like there's this certain product, a byproduct of the PGPR, which is used in making chocolate, by the way. And like there are all these chemicals and like freaking stuff, and can't eat this breakfast sandwich conveniently placed off camera. because it'll like, I don't know, like give me a tumor in 30 years or no one wants to live like that. This tastes really good actually. And I mean, you can't blame them. Well, you could, but it would be a waste of time. Listen, basically, we live in a society where like it's so commonplace for stuff to give you cancer that people just don't really care anymore. And it really just disturbs me, and it's horrible, and I hate it, and I think it's horrible, and people are like, that won't happen to me. And literally, hang on, my phone just forget the phone. Hang on. So literally, I walk down the street. Seriously, no joke. I look to my left and right, and there are people with these huge ass tumors, like growing out of the back of their necks. There's this cheek thing, like it makes it look like there's a big jawbreaker sticking out of your side of your face, like an Eddie and all that. And, like the tumors and health problems and wheelchairs and like crutches. I saw a little girl with a cane today, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? No wonder people are depressed. It's the health. All right? Like I just figured part of the reason out. Like, so many people in this country, and I just figured this out today as I'm making this, are sick. And like you can't go like 10 feet in like an urban area without finding someone who's like practically dead walking next to you. And I'm just noticing this. And that's why health is on the list that is on the floor, because I don't clean up after myself that well when it comes to stray papers. And look at the laundry on my floor. Hang on. So, stray papers all over the floor. Freaking. I've noticed something. People used to be happier, okay? They just used to be happier. And I'm talking about like the 70s and the 80s and early 90s. Like, people used to be happier. I'm serious, okay? Like, and most of my general audience is going to be like, Ian, what the hell are you talking about? And I just have to say to you folks that just said that in your heads or out loud, I talk to old people. And I watch old movies, old TV, old cinema. Freaking, people used to be more satisfied according to all the sources I've seen. I talked to my aunt yesterday. She said, I was like, hey, did people used to be happier? And she's like, yes, people were much happier 10 or 20 years ago. People knew how to have a good time. And and she starts talking about social media and like anxiety and all that. And like it's true. I don't know if social media is really as bad as she was saying. I guess like it could give you more anxiety. It does, but I mean, there's nothing else to do. And if this was not depressing enough for you folks watching this video, I will now tell you exactly how people had a good time back in the day, like 30 something years ago. They just naturally had fun. And I know that's basically a piece of shit answer because it doesn't really get you anywhere. But really, they did. They could do anything. Like, literally, they could be sitting at home with one of those paddle boards and one of those little rubber ball things with a string attached to the paddle board. And they could go like, and they will be having more fun than I am right now, than you are right now, than anyone is having right now. Because for some strange reason, 30 years ago, people were just naturally retaining and producing more serotonin than they are today. And like people would just go out and do whatever the hell they wanted to do. There was no real internet. Social media wasn't really a thing. every now and then you'd meet the guy in the freaking computer lab in the back of the school being like, virtual dungeons, MUDs, MOOs. They're kind of fun, actually. You should try them. Even that person was having more fun than the people who use computers today have. Alright? I mean, nightclubs. You didn't have all these terrorist ISIS folk shooting up nightclubs back then. That probably is one of the reasons why people have less fun in nightclubs these days. But, you know, what are you gonna do? You know, you're gonna pull a Trump tangent. Gonna do that. Oh, I should have added that to the list. Donald Trump. Yeah, that's a great reason to be depressed these days. I'm getting sidetracked. I need more sustenance. No. Back to the point, because I just got sidetracked with Trump and shootings in nightclubs. Do, like Afro. Do. You know, they used to do that all night. We're gonna boogie, oogie, oogie, till we just can't boogie no more. You know, and people were like, AIDS wasn't, like, really that big of a thing back then, so, you know, freaking, why the hell not? You know, that was a thing for a while. I think it was, like, early 70s that was a thing. I myself was not alive in that point in time, but I know my history. Why else were they happier? They just were, okay? They were just naturally energetic, and they were physically healthier than people are today, but we already covered health, you know? Like, so they were just naturally happy, and, like, the only time they weren't happy was when they were on, like, street corners at 5 a.m. Like, oh, I wonder where else to get a cab. And you know what? They were happier than the people who stand at street corners at 5 a.m. today, because back then, drugs were really easy to get, easier than they are now, so they were stoned and on street corners, and they were like, oh, yeah, they were having a great time. Like, people were happy, you know, we didn't have all this stuff, and I want to express something to you right now. I know I sound like this old geezer. Young bull living like an old geezer. No, I know I sound like an old geezer. I know I've sounded like one for the entirety of this video. Don't sue me. Don't sue me, please. That would be horrible. Even though it's a horrible song and no one really cares. People are probably more depressed because they listen to worse music than they did back in the day. What the hell am I saying? No. I know I sound like an old geezer right now, but I'm just trying to, like, be real here, and the crux of what I'm saying is, basically, I don't want to sound like an old geezer, alright? No offense to old folks, but you guys are kind of boring sometimes, and I'm just trying to be expressive of what I'm saying, and the reason why people don't listen to those old geezers who say the stuff that I've said throughout this video is because people say things and they don't do anything about it. Oh, global warming. It's horrible. And no one wants to hear anything about global warming because it's a disturbing topic and the person who's saying it isn't doing anything about it. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got the Greenpeace folks. I was just talking to a girl on Facebook. She's a real nice friend. I like her. Go Bella. So, and we're talking, and she's actually very environmentally conscious. People don't like it when someone says, we should do this, and it's a real issue, but they don't put forth any other information as to how they ought to go about fixing the problem. And so really, because I don't want to be called an old geezer, and I'm not an old geezer, I am a young boy. Basically, not only am I going to say this is an issue in America, I'm going to tell you all how to fix the problem, or at least cope with it. And here's what I do when I'm depressed. This is gonna sound really weird. Random things, like just weird, insane, random. I have a book for you to read. It's called The Codex Seraphinius. And the Codex Seraphinius was... People are going to make a sex joke out of that. They make sex jokes out of everything. Jesus Christ. I'm not an old geezer. Listen. The Codex Seraphinius was written in the 60s by an Italian man in an unknown language. Hardly anyone understands what the hell that book translates into. But basically, it is a book about another dimension that, according to Einstein's string theory, is real. So, even though it's fictional in our world, you can read about this dimension that is real, and it's a real dimension because someone thought of it. And it was created. So, well, technically it already existed. Shit. There are like fractions of microseconds when these things are created, and it's time different. Shit. There are time differences, and like, I need more light. Hang on. There are time differences, and like it's instantaneous almost, and I don't know the exact number of dimensions that are in existence in hyperspace because there are constantly more being created, and it would be impossible for a human to do that. That being said, I am not some random human, and it's like, it could technically be calculated. However, then I wonder how big hyperspace is. Is it infinite? However, our own universe is finite. It just sort of curves back, and you can just go in a loop infinitely if you chose, except nothing's really infinite because everything ends at one point. Because something probably will destroy it, or it'll transform into something else, and I don't know how big hyperspace is, and shit. Whatever. Look, it's a real dimension somewhere in hyperspace, and you can read about it. I'm not going to put the download link in the description because I'll get sued. But basically, it's weird. It's a weird place, Weird dimension. Really cool. And what I'm trying to convey is that it will make you think weird thoughts. And when you think weird thoughts and act on them, you get happier. So, random things. I want you to, everyone watching this video, I don't care if you have controlling parents who would frown upon this. If you don't have much food, don't do this, though. Take a frying pan. I'm getting sick. I wonder why. I'm in America. Breakfast sandwich. Alright. So, you take a frying pan. You pour a bit of oil. Just enough to, like, spread around. Maybe a tiny bit of butter. I don't know. You can use margarine for this if you do not have any other substance. Pig fat's kind of gross when you rub it on a frying pan. I don't know. Just grease the pan, heat it up, and you take an egg. And you don't want to break the yolk. You just want to crack the egg. Falls into the pan. Short drop. It sizzles. It cooks. Sunny. And you take a spatula. You take it out of the pan. You put it on a plate. You let it cool down a bit. And, you just let it cool down. You don't want it to cool down all the way. You just want it to be a bit cooler so you can handle it in your hands. And you go over to a window. It doesn't matter if it's dirty or not. And you just throw it out the window. And it splatters all over the window. Oh, there are egg parts all over the window. Oh! And, and your mom in the next room runs and she's like, oh my God, Ian, you threw an egg at the window. And your father's I knew we should have bought that friggin' thing years ago, and there's no hope, and my brother's just throwing up, whoa, because he can't take it either, and friggin', and everyone's ranting and raving, and the neighbor's like, oh, he's crazy, so anyway, throw an egg out the window, it's fun, clean it up afterwards, though, because you don't want to get, like, little flies on your window, friggin' picking at the little dried egg stuff. Anyway, that's my advice to you. Fry an egg, throw it out the window. That's how you cure depression. Peace the freak out!